Hey guys, let's talk about our full moon in Virgo. It's full moon time again. This time around, a full moon in Virgo coming through, characterizing the energy of this weekend. Saturday, February 24th, 2024 is when the sun and the moon will oppose each other. That is when we have our full moon each month, when the sun and the moon come into exact opposition. This is also, of course, an energetic climax each month. And this particular full moon in Virgo is representing the midpoint, the halfway point in our new moon in Aquarius cycle that began a couple of months ago. Now, I do think that this is going to be a very information-based, communication-based, mental energy type of stuff moon that we have going on. The full moon is happening in a trine to Jupiter, of course, in the sign of Virgo. Virgo being ruled by Mercury, the messenger planet. I think that there is going to be some type of big influx of information, perhaps about the past, okay? Perhaps about the ways that things have been going on or the ways that things have been done for a very long period of time that enhances our awareness or expands our mind or broadens our perspective or just helps us to gain an understanding in some type of way that has the ultimate impact actually of altering or changing some of these patterns or cycles that we are recognizing or gaining an awareness of in this energy. We're talking about a Virgo full moon. Virgo is a sign of a healer, okay? So ultimately, like, there's going to be some type of healing effect, or the information that we receive, or the way that our mind is expanded, or what we come to understand throughout this period of time, the ultimate impact of that, and the cycles that we break or the behaviors that we stop in this energy, likely to be very healing. But as I was preparing this report, it's actually packaged very nicely, the way that this chart is coming together in alignment with the aspects, the transits, and the degree placements of planets and the symbolism, telling a very clear and sort of concise, to the point story of what's going on. And like I said, it all comes back to this expanded sense of understanding that is altering the patterns that have been in place. Now, there's several energetic signatures actually that we have going on, characterizing the energy of this full moon in a lot of ways, really piling on the very transformative, life-changing nature of this month of February and of the new moon in Aquarius cycle that we are, coming to the midpoint of right now, which would make sense. I think that a lot of the information that we are gaining, a lot of the awareness that we are gaining is going to further the process of transformation that a lot of us may have been going through in a lot of ways. Of course, this has been, with all of the Pluto personal planet conjunctions at 0 degrees of Aquarius, very transformative, life-changing period of time, also with the nodes in Aries and Libra. And this past week, we are coming out of a 3-day Venus-Mars conjunction in the sign of Aquarius as well. We are changing our preferences, we are changing our desires, we are changing, how we're using our energy, our actions, and our behaviors, and we're about to figure some things out that are really going to alter the way that we are, conducting ourselves, okay, basically, moving forward. Okay, let me tell you guys the basic transits, and then we'll get into the breakdown. There's also, like I said earlier, some very correlating symbolism that is coming through via degree placements. First of all, we are talking about a full moon in Virgo, right? So this is going to be ruled by Mercury, the messenger planet. Mercury ruling the moon is actually in a conjunction with the sun and in an opposition with the moon. Saturn is also right there. So we're dealing with a full moon that is both that is opposite both Mercury, the ruler of the moon, and also Saturn. Aside from that, we also have Venus and Mars in a conjunction together in Aquarius that is squaring Jupiter almost exactly. And we have Jupiter in a nice trine going on with the moon in the sign of Virgo. It's interesting how this energy is coming together, because on one hand, the moon in Virgo in the trine to Jupiter in Taurus and earth signs, this is the energy that is likely to be like expanding our perception of awareness in terms of things that have been happening in our lives, like on the ground. Like this is earth sign energy. So of course it could also be about like finances or things to do with material possessions or projects or, you know, what we're working on, what we're building. This is also, as I said, like there's an emphasis and a theme on health and healing as well, but also with the moon in the sign of Virgo, this is our daily habits and our routines and our lifestyles and, you know, our levels of self-care, how we care for ourselves and others, the time that we put into, you know, our diet or our nutrition or exercise or just like our straight up, like our lifestyles, okay? That is where the light is shining. Now it's being trined by Jupiter. Jupiter's truth, Jupiter's wisdom, Jupiter's expansion, gaining an expanded sense of awareness of our own behavior patterns, okay? And then we're also, another thing about this full moon, this is a black moon full moon. We currently have the black moon transiting the sign of Virgo. I haven't been talking about the black moon as much lately because we've had so much other just like super big astrology going on, but right now it takes the black moon 9 months to transit any sign, and whenever we have the moon going into the sign where the black moon is or the sign opposing the black moon, this triggers and activates black moon energy, and black moon rules our shadow side. Now, of course, we've been dealing in this very heavy plutonic energy, which is also our shadow side. So the black moon, I feel like, has been getting a little bit like overshadowed by all of the Pluto energy. But there is also a likelihood this cycle that some of the awareness that we might be gaining might have to do with our own subconscious programming or our own shadows or our own weaknesses or our own fears, and perhaps maybe the illusions that we've been under as a result that have been coloring our actions or our behaviors, or just the way that we have been working to our own detriment as a result of being unaware of these shadow side issues or of these cycles or patterns playing out within us and therefore impacting the life that we've been creating and attracting for and to ourselves. There's also a major theme I feel like coming through along those same lines, you know, gaining awareness, but on the same extent, illusions from the past that have controlled us or controlled our mind in some way also being dissolved. Now, like I said, you know, with the, like, I would expect on one hand this to be like a very, very chatty, like, people having a lot to say, like big mouth type of energy going on with a Virgo moon and trine to Jupiter. This is kind of like a free flow of information. This is a very expanded ability to communicate. This is facilitating like a supersized emphasis on news, information, communication, you know, what people are talking about, what they're thinking about. But when we also consider that we do, as I mentioned, have Mercury, who is ruling the full moon in a conjunction to Saturn. It's a 7-degree orb. It's not super tight, but it's still there nonetheless. What people are talking about, I feel like, is going to be, you know, kind of serious, or there's going to be a level of restraint maybe in the information, or, you know, things being held back, even though there's like this influx of information coming through. So it's interesting how the Jupiter in the trine, which is facilitating, you know, the truth. This is like the truth being supported from an informational perspective, but simultaneously there may be sort of like something like trying to keep a lid on it, restraining communication, like holding back, limiting the ability to communicate as well. So that's just something to keep in mind. Like, interesting dynamics that are simultaneously playing out when we're talking about Jupiter Mercury or Jupiter Virgo moon happening, but also Saturn and Mercury. And Saturn Mercury, the Saturn Mercury Sun conjunction, like I feel like this is going a lot of different ways and we're going to talk about it, but those are essentially the basic aspects that we have playing out: the moon trine Jupiter, Mercury Sun Saturn in the conjunction opposition to the moon, this being a black moon, Virgo full moon, and also Venus and Mars in their square to Jupiter right now as well. Now let's talk about also some of the symbolism as we get into this and why I feel like it's so telling in the context of the themes coming through for our full moon itself. You know, I said that I think that there's a lot of information that is being presented to us over the course of maybe this weekend or this next couple of weeks that is going to assist us in the process of seeing or recognizing patterns and cycles. The full moon is happening at 6 degrees of the sign of Virgo. Actually, it's happening exactly at 5 degrees and 23 minutes of Virgo and Pisces. That's where the exact opposition between the sun and the moon is taking place. But when we read the Sabian symbols, which are a group of symbols that are associated with each one of the 360 degrees of the zodiac, we round up a degree because we look at the wave of energy that is coming in, not the wave of energy that is moving out and beginning to dissipate. So in that regard, when we're reading the Sabian symbols for this particular full moon chart, we're going to look at 6 Pisces or 6 Virgo for our degree placement, and that Sabian symbol is a merry-go-round, right? Going round and around and around and around in circles without really going anywhere. And it's the full moon, okay? Illumination, shining the full light. So shining the full light on, you know, the loop that we've been stuck on, the patterns that we've been enmeshed with and attached to, like these karmic cycles, which again, when we take into consideration and into context this hero's journey through the underworld, I've been calling it, this progression of personal planets coming into conjunction with Pluto at 0 degrees of Aquarius, this deeply personal, intense transformation, this life-changing stuff that we've been going through. The next phase of that, right, and the next like part of the process in order to like solidify the changes that have taken place within us over this past couple weeks has to do with helping us to gain a greater awareness, perhaps, of maybe some of these more unconscious or subconscious or subtle or, you know, unaware to us patterns that we have been involved in. Like, what merry-go-round have we been riding? Gaining an awareness of that, and perhaps deciding to get off, okay? Now, another symbol that is important in the context of our full moon, the placement of Mercury, ruling the moon itself, because this is a Virgo full moon. Mercury is currently at 3 degrees of the sign of Pisces. That Sabian symbol is a petrified forest, okay? And if the longer version of the symbol says a petrified forest, an eternal record of a life lived long ago. Mercury and Saturn. While Saturn limits, Saturn controls, Saturn restrains, like all of this we know, Saturn is also the past. Saturn is also karma, right? What are we doing right now on a greater collective level? We are breaking through karmic cycles that have attached us and kept us rooted in the past paradigm, okay, that is breaking down right now as we are going through this generational shift, the Pluto and Capricorn energy into the Pluto and Aquarius energy, and the larger shift of ages right now from the age of Pisces into the age of Aquarius, which I talked about in my last video. This energy, a petrified forest, where a living record of the past, where Mercury is right now ruling this moon while we're gaining an awareness of the cycles, right? Examining the present, this living record to understand the past, how we got to the place that we're at now, and perhaps what do we need to do differently moving forward to alter that record or to get off that merry-go-round or to shift things in such a way that make us feel more free, make us feel more alive, make us feel more aligned with ourselves as we are going through this process, which is a rebirth of the authentic self ultimately. Like, that is what, with the 0 degree Pluto, all the personal planet conjunctions, it is a rebirth of the authentic self. And we are reinventing ourselves in a lot of ways. We're going through a lot of major relationship changes. And now I do believe that we are coming to a point where we are going to begin to see, on one hand, maybe like the fallacies in our ways, but also gain a much greater understanding perhaps of where we have been caught up in illusions or in fears or in like a fog or hypnosis or a misunderstanding under some type of spell that has been literally like working against our own ability to like be successful and be healthy and, you know, be strong and smart and wise and aware and be in a place of personal power. Of course, with the North Node transiting the sign of Aries right now, we talk about it all the time. This is for all of us moving us toward a leadership era in our lives in one way or another, reclaiming personal power, being inspired by like a greater destiny that's being activated within us. And it is requiring this process of massive personal transformation, letting go go of the past, embracing what may be an unknown future with the faith that if we just keep putting one foot in front of the other, you know, we're eventually going to get to a better place than where we were or ever could have imagined before. And that is the trajectory. Like, that is the path. And this full moon cycle, I do think, is going to be opening our eyes to the adjustments, the changes that need to take place, and most specifically what we need to stop doing, or where our own mind has been acting as a block or a limitation to us being able to get some results or achieve something, or, you know, manifest something essentially that maybe we've had within us or has been kind of stirring within us for a while, but we, you know, haven't known or haven't felt worthy of. That's another big part of the energy right now, of course, with the Uranus and the Jupiter energy in the sign of Taurus right now, reinstilling a sense of authentic value, resource, and potential from within. So I don't want to get too far off on my, like, you know, tangent about the whole existential nature of everything that is transpiring right now. I do want to stay focused specifically on the full moon and the symbolism associated with it, but I do think that we're going to be seeing the writing on the wall. I think that that's what it is in a lot of cases, and I do think that this is going to have to do with perhaps information about the past, or perspectives from the past, or news from the past. There could also be some very difficult information. I mean, we're talking about Saturn and Mercury, right? Saturn is difficulty, Saturn is a challenge, Saturn is the past, Saturn is karma, Saturn is like limitation, control, restriction, but it's also, you know, an intense level of focus as well. And with the moon in Virgo, you know, at that degree, the merry-go-round and the Mercury energy, the petrified forest, like, I do think, and the black moon also, I do think that we are going to become aware of, like, the flaws in our own systems, okay? Like, in our own flaws, our own weaknesses, and the impact that they have had on molding our reality up until this point. I think a lot of people are going to be waking up to their current situations and be like, oh my God, like, I understand why I am in this situation now, or, you know, why I keep repeatedly facing these same interpersonal dynamics, or why I can't seem to change my circumstances. And it's going to have to do with these, like, root issues also as a result of all of the Pluto energy that we've had going on, that we're discovering, and you know, what we are choosing to become now. As a result of what we're discovering, we're going to make different choices about how we're going to behave moving forward. We have Venus at 10 degrees of Aquarius. That Sabian symbol is a man who had for a time become the embodiment of an ideal, is made to realize that as a man, he is not that ideal. With the black moon in Virgo, like, this, again, like, I feel like is emphasizing this energy that is going to be showing us our own flaws, our own weaknesses, our own inadequacies, but not for the point of being super self-critical. And that's something that we need to keep in mind. Like, everything that's happening this Virgo cycle is to help us heal. We have a Virgo full moon being trined by Jupiter. This is the universe assisting us to learn something that is going to heal us on some level. With the black moon in the sign of Virgo, we could really gain an awareness of some shadow side issues, some subconscious issues that have been sabotaging our ability to create successfully. Venus and Mars, the creative force in the square to Jupiter, success, to create successfully in our own, like, reality, in our own circumstances up until this point in time. We have Mars also at 9 degrees of Aquarius. We've got Venus at 10. We've got Mars at 9 all week up until now. They have been in a conjunction with each other, and they separate, just move 1 degree apart for this full moon. But Venus and Mars together, if you guys watched my last video earlier this week, I was also talking about, you know, the very potent and powerful creative force and force for fertility and conception in terms of birthing something new, and a very balanced and, like, harmonized way within us, actually pursuing some deeper passion or desire. That was the vibe that we've been dealing in, moving and building into this full moon that's coming together. And now we have Mars at 9 degrees of Aquarius. That Sabian symbol is a flag is seen turning into an eagle. And we have Jupiter at 11, Taurus, in square to both Mars and Venus. That Sabian symbol is a woman sprinkling long rows of flowers. So we're choosing to become more, right? We're choosing to evolve, metamorphosize, alchemize, transmute, redefine ourselves completely. The flag turning into an eagle to free ourselves on an even higher level. And also in regards to that Venus symbol, right? The man who had for a time become the embodiment of an ideal is made to realize that as a man, he is truly not that ideal. This is all about those false images, and Venus being there as well. Venus ruling the South Node in Libra. I've been talking about this incessantly as well, about how we are dropping the facade. Like, we're detaching from, the image that may have suited us and may have worn, and, it may have been a mechanism promoting like our peace and comfort and abundance and luxury and leisure and beauty and stuff up until this point in time. But now we're realizing with the South Node in Libra and the North Node in Aries that it is stealing our power, that is keeping us detached from being able to be the leader in our own experience and in our own lives. That, the more that we keep that peace, the more that we wear that mask, the more that we maintain that image, the more detached we are feeling from our authentic self, which is intolerable, honestly, in the energy as it's coming together now. And it's not just as it's coming together now, it's as it's coming together now, building into the next 20 years, building into the next 2,000 years. So this is a new energy that is grounding itself now, and the way that it's grounding itself is, anchoring through humanity at this point in time. And that is one of the reasons why we are all being so compelled through this authentic process of personal transformation right now. It's because on a greater level, here I go back to the existentials, like through that process, we are anchoring these new frequencies to the planet, to the paradigm that are going to root and begin to grow over the next 20 and then the following 2000. Okay, so it's not for nothing, and the brutalness, some might say, the tumultuousness, the just intensity of the times that we're going through right now, they are very purposeful in that this is literally anchoring the Aquarius, the changes that are going to define the next, up to 2,000 year period of time. So it is some big business that we have going on. But with that symbolism in effect, we're choosing to evolve, we're transforming, we're becoming something more, we're realizing, while we may have been embodying an ideal or an image before, like, is it real? Was it authentic? Is it filling me up on that soul level? Like, am I deriving a sense of purpose from that? And if I'm not, what changes do I need to make? What do I need to stop doing at this point in time so that I can put myself in a position where that fulfillment is my experience and not the lack of? Okay. The woman sprinkling long rows of flowers as well, where the Jupiter is, and like through the process of nurturing this authentic transformation that is birthing and taking form, taking root within all of us now, we're going to grow and we're going to cultivate something very beautiful that is to come on the heels of, maybe even the sacrifices that we're having to make as we root this energy now. The clearing and the dissolving of illusions that have kept us stuck in cycles of patterns and perspectives. Mercury, as I said, the petrified forest, an eternal record of a life lived long ago. Like, that is so Saturnian. A petrified forest, like, that is such a Saturnian energy that is being described by the Mercury placement. And then we have Saturn, actually, 10 degrees of Pisces, an aviator in the clouds, and then we've got the sun also in the opposition to the moon, which I said was at the merry-go-round degree. That Sabian symbol is a parade of army officers in full dress. So the aviator in the clouds, okay, where we have been navigating in such a way, or steering or directing our course without having full clarity. And then the petrified forest, right? How this lack of clarity that we've been navigating in perhaps has impacted like the record of the past and how it is playing out in the present. But with the sun at that 6th degree of Pisces, that parade of army officers in full dress, this is giving flavors of maybe some prominent displays or shows of force or shows of power, discipline, strength, coordination, group effort, relevance somehow, maybe in the context of the cycles that we're realizing, the past that is coming into perspective, the fog that is clearing at this point as well. Something is coming clear. It could be sudden, it could be unexpected, it could be a bit explosive. We have Pluto at an unexpected thunderstorm, we have the black moon at a volcanic eruption. And there is also, with the Saturn Mercury influence and a Virgo full moon, like I can't not say that this energy is causing like the brakes to pump somehow. Things could be slowing down. If you guys watched my February overview, I was talking about how everything is like full steam ahead, like really high pitched, fast paced, like one thing after another intensity all month of February long until we hit the last week. And then it's like running into a wall, perhaps. Like there's just this energy of sort of like halting things in their tracks, with Mercury ruling movement coming into the conjunction with Saturn for the full moon in Virgo, which is one of his moons. So there is likely to be something else that is coming up, or something that is kind of intertwined with everything that is going on, that is representing the pumping, the brakes, the restraint, the limitation, the discipline, the control, the karma, the consequence, the past, you know, also like major themes of the past in terms of the informational components of things. But again, I keep going back to this past patterning that we're gaining an awareness of. But Saturn is also probably going to have us taking things seriously, not playing around. This is like dead serious energy. But it's also, you know, we got the Venus and Mars squaring Jupiter. These are two kind of like polarizing energies, but they're not, I feel like, the way that they could be playing out and that they're likely to play out. When we've got a Mars square Jupiter, Venus square Jupiter, this is expanding creative energy. Like this is a really strong desire to like make something happen, to bring something to fruition, to get results somehow. Okay, like this is a strong determination to initiate an effort that translates into some type of results, to create something, to manifest something. So collectively, you know, and it's the masculine and the feminine, it's everybody. Like people are likely to be very driven to execute on something, to make something happen, to get results. But simultaneously, there's also this energy about like being held back or being restrained or slowing down. And that's why I'm saying, like, I do feel like the way that this energy is likely to be functioning is that we're taking action to stop something like that. It would not surprise me at all if that is like a theme that also became kind of prominent and relevant right now, taking action to stop things from happening, maybe based on this expanded awareness. And this could have to do with like all of these Virgo themes, right? Food, agriculture, medicine, rules, like travel as well, plans, information, communication, publishing, education, schools, the flow of information generally. And that's why I was saying, you know, on one hand, the moon trine Jupiter in Virgo, this is expanding our awareness, truth, information, facilitating the flow of information. But with the Mercury Saturn situation going on as well, this is also stifling and controlling perhaps the flow of information also. So it'll be interesting to see how those two things play together. There could be like an element of truth that is trying to be sort of like stifled and stamped out from its ability to spread in this energy. Or it could be us really like taking some things seriously and like information in regards to the past, or figuring things out, like I said, in a way that causes us to stop doing something or to like put the brakes on something somehow. Lifestyle choices, habits, behaviors, decisions, patterns, you know, like I've been saying over and over again, things to do with health and healing, what it's, you know, really all coming back to gaining a greater awareness, a greater understanding, discovering, you know, the leak in the boat or the faulty gear in the system, like the chink in the armor, right? That is distorting the ability for like the overall whole to be functioning in its highest potential, in its highest regard. We are being given an expanded opportunity through this full moon energy to see the real problems and to take action to disrupt the patterns that perpetuate these problems, and keep things always happening a certain way. This is energy where like things always happen a certain way, always happen, you know, according to a certain system or a certain plan. But this moon comes along and all of a sudden, for some reason, there is a disruption in that pattern, and it's causing us to take a second look, and we are understanding things that we were unable to see before about whatever process is underway, which is altering the way that we are choosing to relate or act or, you know, maintain that thing moving forward. People are, like I said, also with the black moon energy, probably going to be real triggered by their own shadows in such a way that they are gaining this greater awareness of what they cannot and will not continue to do and anymore, and they will decide to change. People that do have an aptitude to change, that are able to be, self-reflective and self-analytical, are not really going to be able to hide from that this cycle, because healing, growth, release from karmic cycles that, again, have been keeping us detached from our own personal power, our own personal purpose, our own personal mission, from seeing ourselves accurately, from our authentic self generally. This is what we're going to be discovering, realizing, gaining an awareness of, and getting out of our own way. That's another impact of this. Broadening our understanding in such a way that changes our fundamental viewpoint somehow. And we're prepared to work very hard to achieve these results. Mentally sober, mentally focused, yet energetically active, determined to produce an outcome, reach a goal, achieve an objective, get results through resistance, though. Mercury and Saturn together, like slowing down, limiting, ceasing, like stopping the movement of, travel, transactions, the flow of things, conversations. A lot of people are not going to be engaging in drama and stuff like that, are not going to be engaging in like gossip, are not going to be engaging in like small-minded, like petty stuff. That's another thing, like, that may be causing us to realize that we need to distance ourselves from certain type of people or circumstances or situations. A mental maturation, okay? Saturn also has to do with maturity. This is likely to be where the focus is, or where we're just more kind of like drawn to as we go through this full moon energy. Gaining awareness that motivates change. This could really have some financial impacts. I mean, we're talking about earth sign heavy. We got the Virgo full moon, of course, earth sign, money, harvest, what we're producing, the results that we're producing. And Taurus, where Jupiter is, of course, this is resources, assets, has a lot to do with finances, material comforts, food and stuff like that. Food, health, well-being. This is what we're driving towards. It's like we are really wanting to fix our problems. We are gaining a different perspective on the past. We are waking up from some type of spell or hypnosis where we thought things were a certain way, so we were conducting ourselves a certain way, or we were making certain decisions, or maybe it was happening subconsciously. Maybe we are becoming aware of some of our triggers or some of our own subconscious patterning or some of our shadow side issues, and how we have been our own worst enemy in a lot of ways, and we are getting out of our own way as we gain this expanded awareness. But really, any way you slice it, it depends, of course, on where this energy is happening in your own chart, what houses and planets are involved for you. But, on a greater collective level, we are figuring some stuff out that is altering the way that things are going to operate moving forward. And, like I said, as I started this out, if you guys have been following my channel, February overview, all as we move through this month, it's all been about this push for like major reform, revolution, like very significant transformation, right? This death and rebirth energy. And here we are with the like mentalized component of it, like coming to a place where the light bulb is coming on, and we are seeing, as I said earlier, maybe perhaps some of the fallacy in our ways. We are committing to, do things different, to work according to our own benefit and our own well-being moving forward, instead of perhaps according to, maybe patterns or cycles that we're realizing were ultimately quite self-deprecating without maybe even our awareness that we were caught up in stuff like that. If you don't know there's a problem, you can't solve the problem. And it's really hard a lot of times to understand there's a problem if we're not like going through something that is like pointing that out to us, because we're uncomfortable. And that's what this Uranus energy does as well. We are, as I've said, we are transitioning right now into a 20-year period that is going to be defined by Aquarius and Uranus. And that in and of itself is really, bridging and anchoring us into this greater 2,000-year period that is going to be defined by Aquarius and Uranus. And to get there, Aquarius, I say this all the time, is a sign that's ruled by Saturn and Uranus. It's about the past. Yes, it's about, the conditioning, but it's also about the boxes that we need to break out of in order to facilitate, a future potential, a higher destiny to come to pass. It's the karma that has led us to this point and what we need to do to liberate ourselves from that. The Saturn themes are strong, but the Uranian themes are what are breaking us out of those boxes and aligning us with the higher future potential that universe seeks to expand us into, as universe is always in a process of expansion. And right now, as we are moving through time and space, and we're just turning the page to the Aquarian age as the cosmic blueprint unfolds, these are the prominent and the important, you know, embodiment and characteristics that we need to begin to embody and that we need to learn to work within as we move forward into this new energy. So really, you guys, that's what I have to say about this full moon in Virgo. I do like this chart. I think that this is going to be a very effective way to end our month of February, and a lot of what has gone on over this past several weeks, I think, is going to begin to come into context and make some more sense. I meant to say this at the beginning, but I also think it's kind of cute in the context of like what I've been describing and everything that I've been saying, and you know, perhaps like the return of maybe some reason or some critical thinking, or you know, the writing on the wall, or you know, the fog being lifted, breaking through the spell. Also the numerology that's associated just with the date of this full moon, it's 224, February 24th, 2024. And to me, that's just like 224, right? 2 plus 2 equals 4. 2 plus 2 equals 4. Like logic, reason, rationality, like things not being distorted, like things being clear, things making sense, like no like manipulation going on, or if there is manipulation, like us being able to see like the truth through the illusion. You know what I mean? Like 2 plus 2 equals 4. It doesn't equal 5. It doesn't equal 3. And because you know, I'm gaining this ability to see things for what they really are, and I'm no longer, you know, operating under some type of an illusion that may have distorted my ability to even, you know, perceive like the basic fundamentals of certain areas of my life clearly. I can now make better decisions because things are making sense. You know, I know what I want to do. I know what I need to do. And more importantly, in this energy with the Mercury-Saturn situation, like I know what I'm no longer going to be doing. I know what I'm no longer going to be participating in. I know what also rules I'm not going to be following anymore. You know, Saturn is rules, restriction, control. This is also in the sign of Pisces. Pisces breaks things down. This I do think is going to be breaking down authority, like mental authority, thought police and stuff like that. I feel like are going to be holding quite little relevance over this full moon energy as it comes in. And yeah, like making things happen, bringing things into fruition, working to create a successful outcome, working to get results through maybe what we're stopping, what we're not involving ourselves with anymore, what we're not like participating in. I don't know, you guys. And again, you know, this earth-based stuff. So there could be like financial or lifestyle, right? Lifestyle, habit, routine, also resources, you know, Virgo, Taurus, money, resources, food, assets, medicine, agriculture, health though. Healing energy. All right, so that's what I'm going to say. Insight about the past in a way that also we could really be being re-inspired. Like, see, I could just go on and on about this. Like the square from the Jupiter, the fixed square between Venus and Mars and Jupiter, like this is likely to be, this is this energy that is inspiring us and firing us up to do something, to make something happen. Like we are inspired by the truth and the authentic potential of whatever it is that we are gaining an awareness of, insight of in regards to the past. It could be hitting us out of nowhere too. Again, like, we are in Aquarius season. This is flashes of insight, sudden downloads, epiphanies, things just coming out of nowhere. So that's what it's looking like, you guys. Let's grab a synchronicity card now. God, Spirit, Universe, what do we need to know? What's a piece of information, additional information that is going to benefit us as we move through this period of time? What should we keep in mind? What should our mantra be? How should we perspectivize the energy that we're moving into this weekend? We have 2 right here. Seek the Spirit and you will be guided. Seek the Spirit. There is no power but of God. Romans 13:1. When you have a problem, become aware of the power of God to help you. There is no power but that of God. Seek the Spirit of God within you. Do not give power to others to affect you or the situation. Right? We're taking back our own power. Know that God is there for you, already solving the problem. Find joy in your heart with this knowledge. God is there for you. There is no problem God cannot handle, and you will be guided. Sent his angel to show the things which shortly must be done. Revelation 22:6. Shortly, you will be shown the direction you should take. The way will open up for you to move forward. Seize the opportunity that comes to you. Know you are being divinely guided. Listen to the voice within for guidance. And that's what I'm saying, you guys. Like, we're going to gain awareness. Like, we're going to know what to do. Like, we're finally going to get the answers. Things are finally going to start making sense. Like I said, like the writing on the wall. It may not be easy. Saturn and Mercury, difficult choices, difficult conversations, difficult decisions, but ultimately productive for the long term, for the best. Venus and Mars in conjunction. This is indicating that what we are creating, what we are fertilizing, what we are cultivating, okay, what we are conceiving of right now, even if it's just ideas, also with Venus and Mercury in the mental Aquarian energy. And you know, we got lots of idea type of information going on right now. Like, it will ultimately lead to a greater level of success and fulfillment and abundance for us somehow in some level of our experience. But you know, we gotta break ourselves out of, you know, the illusions or the cycles or the patterns that have been keeping us, you know, restricted from moving down that more authentic path and taking back our power and, you know, doing all this Aries North Node stuff that I always talk about. So that's what we have, you guys. Seek the Spirit and you will be guided. You're gonna know what to do. Like, I'm telling you, things are gonna start making sense. So I'm gonna stop talking now. That's what I have to say. I hope you guys liked it. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, you guys. Share it with your friends if you think they would also enjoy narrating the shift of the ages with us. Leave me comments. I tell you guys this all the time. What you have to say, your experiences, what's going on with you guys out there, it's really truly valuable to me. I really appreciate your feedback. If you're having experiences that line up, that reflect what I'm talking about in these videos, please let me know in my comment section below. I love you guys. I appreciate you so much. If you want to know what's on this whiteboard over here, I have a Facebook group in my description box where I post photos of those. Jana Shellman, the creator of the Synchronicity cards, she also posts our daily Synchronicity cards over in that group as well. So if you are interested in that, that's where you will find it. And come back with me, you guys. I will be back on Monday. We will close out this month of February, and we're gonna be moving into the month of March overview coming up. I will be here, you guys. You should be here too. You don't want to miss it, and I will see you next time. Have a beautiful full moon, everybody, and until next week, bye guys.